RealTuners Radio.
Are you interested in taking a live, in-person class with the guys from RealTuners? We have 2-day courses in dyno shops across the country. Our next class will be in Mount Airy, North Carolina, February 24th and 25th at TIC Performance for a highly specific class. We have 5 seats left for this one. Sign up soon. For you Midwest people, we have seats available at our class in Northwest Arkansas, March 10th and 11th at Jerry's Performance and Magazine. Plenty of seats left for this one. It's a good opportunity to make a spring class that still has open seats. Consider traveling if you have to. We also have seats available at our Dallas-Fort Worth class March 24th and 25th. April classes, we will have GM HP Tuners Gen 3 and 4 specific 2-day class at Shore Tuning in Danville, Kentucky on the 7th and 8th of April, and advanced standalone tuning on the 28th and 29th, also at Shore Tuning. April 21st classes at 417 Motorsports are sold out. May 12th and 13th will be in Detroit, Michigan. May 26th and 27th will be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. June 9th and 10th is another highly specific class at 417 Motorsports in Springfield, Missouri. Register for all of these at RealTuners.com. Click on RealTuners Live Classes. If you'd like to bring 2 or more people, talk to us about group discounts. For more info or to make a reservation, go to RealTuners.com or message us at RealTuners LLC on Facebook. Learn how to tune your own standalone EFI systems like Holley, Fuel Tech, Megasquirt, Fast, and others on a chassis dyno. Includes topics such as traction control, individual cylinder tuning on a budget, and power adders. All designed to help you get your project running successfully in a course taught by people who actually do this stuff for a living.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to RealTuners Radio, episode 35. Tonight, we have Cody Bruce of NANO Nitrous to talk about their unique approach to nitrous technology. Also, joining us live from South Georgia Motorsports Park with a Lights Out 9 update, Eric Yost of Customs by Biggin. We also got our usual band of misfits, Mark Dahlquist, Throttles Performance, James Short, Shore Tuning, Scott Evans from Helix Tuning, Tom Bigu of 3B Performance, and me, Rye Clint of Bull City Speed. And without further delay, a man who allegedly took a day off of work when he found out they were bringing back Zima, Scott Picharita Clark.
You're going to hell for that one, Rye Clint. Oh, man. I got to preview those next time. I got to start listening to those. What in the hell?
You good?
I forgot to tell everyone we got Tom Sewell in the house, too.
I did. I apologize, Tom. I didn't know you were going to be on here. Tom Sewell of Fuel Injector Development is here.
The man, the legend.
So, I'm still pissed about the Pizzeria thing. I'm sorry. You guys want to talk about some stuff? Go ahead. Step out.
Rye, I'll get you that $20 I slipped you for that.
Not gonna lie, I'm sitting here watching Lights Out in the other window. The track just started hooking, and here goes Dwayne Mills.
I'm watching the same
thing.
Oh,
he spun him. They both spun him. Him and Carter. Oh. Mickey's car. Looks like they gathered themselves. Still 560s. Now, anyway, sorry if you guys are... should be watching the live stream while you're listening to us. I don't know. There goes our listeners. Anyway, wow. What's happening? It's a Thursday night episode. Let's see, February 15th, the night after Valentine's Day. We stayed home sick. I'm just getting over like bronchitis or something. I think I got it electronically transmitted from Rye last week.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. But anyways, so getting over that, the crud. Weather was nice for the last 2 days. It's been in the 40s. That's kind of nice. Up where I'm at. Oh, but anyhow, so what has been going on? Obviously, the last couple days is testing, and right now it's first round qualifiers for Lights Out 9. right? It's a ninth lights
Yeah.
out race.
Yep.
Sweet.
That's the biggest buzz going on. I got it on the TV right now in the background, watching it as we're doing this as well. So we apologize in advance for everybody on Mixler and Facebook if we don't get immediately to your questions.
Oh wait, I better turn those on. Hold on, I better go on those chats. Good call.
But yeah, not much. I was sick last week, so I apologize for the absence. Playing catch up all week, playing Valentine's Day yesterday, and Daddy Daycare all week. But
hold on, you weren't on the show last week?
I was not.
Oh man. Okay, now I'll give Tom his $20.
Is there an inside joke I'm missing or what?
No, we're just giving her.
Oh yeah, you totally missed that one.
You did miss that, right? Nobody noticed.
That was a big red truck if I've ever seen it.
Bam.
Oh man.
Well, now I'm going to insert an awkward silence here.
That usually happens.
What'd you do?
So what's up, you guys? You guys been up to anything new?
Me, Scott, no. Getting ready for classes. Tick performance next week. That's it.
I got a chance to spend an hour or better on the world's most powerful and fastest production stone, 1,000cc turbocharged Articat ZR 9000 RR, 210 horsepower stock, and it is one bad mother.
Knew you'd come around to the ways of the boost eventually.
You know, my two-stroke, I love my two-stroke, but you hop on that turbo sled and it's just a whole different deal.
It just keeps pulling. It never noses over. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it was absolutely retarded. I loved it. I was trying to convince myself that I need one.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't take much convincing, right? I mean, it's just the fact that it is the most powerful stock sled on the planet. And, you know, you've got to have the best of the best if you're going to have something.
Well, this is true. Like the 100 miles a year that I end up riding, it's hard to justify, a new car payment on a snowmobile.
It just means you needs well, hell. That just means
derp.
derp. That just
I gotta ride more. I know.
Yeah, exactly. That just means you need to make an effort to get out more.
There's this thing that I have to fight with every day. It's called being self-employed.
Well, I know. I mean, I understand it. I feel your pain there.
But your boss is an asshole. Sometimes you just got to tell him you're taking the day off.
Yeah, but then he turns around and punches me.
True, right?
Who's driving the maroon C7 in the left lane right now, or C6? Is that Alepa's old
Daniel
car?
Ferris.
Daniel Ferris. Yeah, that is. So Brad wired that car like twice.
Is it Alepa? No, Alepa's
We
got
do
the
actually have a listener that's wondering if the prep is coming around at the track or
It
what
is.
happened.
It just started hooking as well. So Doug and Andy and Eric Yost are on site, and they all have reported that it just started hooking. There's been a couple of 390s run already, although you wouldn't think so from what you're seeing right there. But they'll get around,
Enigma
man. You got to work it. You got everybody's
3.
dealing with the same thing in both lanes. So this is a tuners race this week. That's gonna be fun to watch.
From what I heard earlier, they all needed Mercruiser out drives.
Yeah. They had 5 days of rain nonstop. There was 2 inches puddled on the track. Like it said at some point, some of my friends that got there, Barry Cook got there early and said they were literally, he's like, dude, for a whole day, there was like 2 inches just laying on the track of rain.
Speaking of Barry Cook, somebody asked what was going on with his flex fuel sensor issue.
So his flex fuel sensor deal, I'm his tuner. I'm responsible for that. I couldn't find it in the documentation, to be honest with you. I was going to say, hey, stupid tuner mistake, but I couldn't find. I basically had it set up so that it would report ethanol content because I was looking for fuel temperature. He's running E85. We're not doing any flex fuel or gasoline, so I didn't really care about the flex fuel. But I'm like, all right, you got the sensor. Go ahead, hook it up. And it was reading temp. It was reading ethanol percentage. So for some reason, the reported value, and I'm not saying it's the sensor or the sensor input, but the reported value would switch from 0 to 1%. And do a significant change to fuel pulse width, whether or not you had any blend tables set up. Like I had everything disabled. I couldn't find anywhere where it would make a change to the fuel, and it was doing that. Shannon Taylor got on and posted that he had the exact same thing happen to him at some point last year, And neither of us ever had a chance to follow up and figure out if it's a bug or if it's some stupid feature we don't understand. But it was a Megasquirt thing. Tends to be a science fair project. But anyway, so what it was doing was just dumping fuel, making it run super rich when we disabled that after the dyno. So we ended up tuning it on the dyno that way. So we turned that crap back on and just let it do its thing, and it was running fine. But now, this last pass, he's trying to leave in second gear to kind of take things easy, and it's just lugging too hard, and we're not able to get up RPM. And when it did gather RPM and steam on this last pass, it blew right through the converter. So he's going to leave in first, try something a little more traditional and just kind of ramp the power in. But that's the Barry Cook update right there. But we're within 2 mile an hour now of his best 8th mile speed. So, and that was just kind of messing around on 22 pounds. And we had it at 38 pounds on the dyno where it was making its big number. And Bewley told us, he said it's probably not going to do well until you get in the mid 20s in boost. And it did. It started really waking up. It was a turd. Like 20 pounds, it was like 600 at the wheel or something on a Mustang dyno. We knew those dynos were stingy, but even then. But then all of a sudden at 26 pounds, the thing was cresting 1,000. And then went from there. But anyway, no, I guess it was about 28 pounds. It started to hit 1,000. But it was picking up
Nick
50
Deal
to 80
says,
horse per wheel.
Nick Deal says they had the exact same problem all last year.
Who said that? Nick Deal? That's hilarious. See, I don't run the flex sensor hardly ever on anything. I let people learn and do that themselves because that's not something you can like have a tuner do in 2 hours. You have to figure out the tune and the blends and the different percentages and the cold start for each of them. That's something that, to me, like if you're going to get that right, you just got to do
there's a default settings that are in there. I don't remember what the percentage is on Megasquirt. And remember,
I zeroed those out. I made it so that no matter what the number was, it was going to be 0 anyway. But if you looked, and it would sit at 0 on fuel correction. On the fuel correction, it would show you 0. But there's one variable called ethanol percentage would go from 0 to 1, and it would change the fuel by like 20%.
Yeah, there's a default like fail safe, I think, setting. If the sensor fails, it just fattens it up like crazy. I can't remember.
I think it's just not happy. It's not reading the signal, so it's doing some default thing. Oh, that's what it was doing because it was switching in and out of that mode.
So on the flex sensor, if somebody can probably, I don't know, if they get an air bubble through there, like if it's rated above your fuel cell and say the fuel falls out faster than it's pumped, and if you get an air pocket that goes across that sensor, is that going to cause it to read crazy?
I have no idea.
Maybe.
Either that or it's the square wave isn't happy. I've seen that a lot where it's not a clean square wave and the ECU can't track the frequency.
Yeah, I remember Chris Delgado on here talking about putting a loop in your sensor return right there to kind of keep it submerged in fuel, because if it uncovers itself, it's going to give you a jacked up reading. Interesting. No, spitballing. I don't know. Yeah. Like you said, I would just switch it over to table and disable it altogether. Right.
No, anyway, so that was the problem we were having. It only slowed us down one pass, and it ran it rich, so it didn't hurt anything. But
how many hours did you have to wait?
I made him go through everything though before I figured out what the hell was going on. Because here's what sucks: it ran it just rich enough that it misfired, so it was showing lean, a little bit leaner than normal, and the O2s, the closed loop correction, just kept adding and adding and adding, and it just kept showing misfire bouncing around O2s, mostly lean. And it's like, well, what the hell's causing that? It's got to be a misfire of some kind. So he went through the whole thing all night mechanically, and there was nothing wrong. And then I ended up noticing that thing in the tune where I'm like, oh, what's this one? I went through every freaking variable, every PID that it was recording. And I'm like, the only thing I found that was getting weird was that ethanol percentage field. And I think you're right. I think it is some kind of fallback when it's not reading from the sensor properly. But anyway, happened to us. So... But Shannon Taylor's had it happen to him before, and you guys have seen it, so I don't feel totally stupid. It hurt one pass, one test run, and it probably wouldn't have hooked up anyway. So, and he was trying the second gear leave. Now we're going to try the first gear leave, like John suggested.
Yeah, he's not hitting it with enough power. The car's too heavy to be trying the second gear leave on 30-some hundred RPM and 7 or 8 pounds of boost. That truck needs to be leaving on 4,500 RPM and 14, 15, 16 pounds of boost to even remotely make the second gear leave work right.
Right.
Plus, he still got a quarter mile gear in the back end of it. I mean, the second gear lever is for when you make the thing want to run to the eighth and you stick a 410 out back. Damn tuners.
Hey, man, whatever.
Man,
it happens. One pass, big deal. I said, next, what are we going to blame? We're going to blame the turbo guy next. Fortunately, that wasn't you.
Yeah, not this time.
But
I'd have turbochargers on it that it actually moves some air down low.
So if you're not watching the Lights Out live feed, you should be, but you can do it on mute while you're listening to us. Let's see. What else is going on? Tonight we can just take some questions. We can all watch this event together.
I want to give a quick shout out while people are typing in some questions
Shout
here
freely.
To Fuel Injector Development, Tom Sewell. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate
He sucks.
everything
You heard
you've
about
done
him?
for me this week.
He beats up his
Dude.
wife. Sorry.
Wow, that hurts.
No, so I tried to start my car a couple weeks ago, and my own stupidity kind of bit me in the ass. I left my fuel injectors and just let them dry out with E85 in them, and they were all stuck shut. But Tom was able to revive them, and the car is finally running again. So I appreciate the help.
Yeah, we got lucky. We came up with some tricks to get those 2000s back working again. So glad to see they help people.
Absolutely. Now, more transmission issues, but that's neither here nor there. We don't want to talk about that.
Cool. So hold on. Eric Yost is messaging us right now, and he's they're getting ready to make a pass in the tooth jerker, right? And Doug and Andy and them are helping out with that car this year. Motion Racework sponsoring that car. That's the fastest leaf spring car at this event in the last year. So we'll watch that, and then Eric's going to get on and talk to us about it.
So did I see right? Could somebody else confirm that they pedaled it to a 420?
I'm not sure. Did they so far in a qualifier or a test?
I think so. That's what somebody said.
No,
Like,
I will ask him when he gets on here. It's probably about a half hour, I'm guessing. They're in the lanes right now. Daryl
In the
White
lanes.
says it's hard to watch Lights Out, listen to this, and watch the Olympics while FaceTiming with my wife. Daryl. Well, you gotta cut back, man. Time to turn off FaceTime. And then the Olympics. Actually, the Olympics doesn't have near the all-star cast that the Lights Out event has. So anyway, you guys are all being quiet on me. What else should we talk about?
Well, I'll tell you what, the Shaun White deal was over the top, and then the ice skating last night was over the top too. Both of those were just spectacular.
He didn't just talk about ice skating, did he?
It was Valentine's Day. I was with my wife. Shut up.
Man.
Have a peacherini.
Okay. No, I'm still working on the Templeton Rye tonight.
Well, at least you got your manhood back a
Ignore
little
the
bit.
pop top sound. I swear it's whiskey.
It better be the Coke you're mixing it with you just opened.
Oh, Templeton Rye. This is the wimpy Templeton Rye, but it tastes good. Good tasting.
That's all that matters, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so fire away, people. We take some questions or some chats, comments about Lights Out. You can tell all
We
of
got
us
a
are
nitrous
distracted.
guy on here. Anybody got any questions for him?
Well, yeah. So we got Cody Bruce on here from Nano tonight. Met Cody while we were both being blocked from a certain nitrous tech support page. And so like I had an interesting chat with him. I'm like, and he's like, hey man, I'll get on your podcast. And I actually, him being involved with Nano, I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, hell yeah. I've used Nano in a Bonneville car that had to run just 150 shot for like 90 seconds. And it worked like a champ, you know? And so we didn't have to mess around with bottle heaters or nothing like that. And Tune made the tune stupid easy because there was no change in bottle pressure. There's no change in nitrous delivery over the course of that 90 seconds. So, and when it empties a bottle out, it just car noses over and you know it's done. So,
Yeah, you know in a heartbeat that it's over.
Yeah.
It's an on-off switch.
Right. It goes from working perfectly good all the way through but there's no gray area where it's like petering out. I mean, it's consistent regulated pressure. So I don't, that's been my one experience with Nano and any type of push system. And it was freaking awesome. It made my job as the tuner so ridiculously easy. Didn't have to mess with the heater, didn't have the current draw of the heater. The only downside is you've got extra plumbing that you got to manage. I mean, so it's one small layer of more complexity, but our guys didn't have a problem. So it was awesome.
Some guys, find it, I don't know, tough to find a scuba shop, or they see the word nitrogen and they think that nitrogen has to be the only air source in that bottle. And the biggest thing is, man, you can go to a scuba shop, paintball store. I mean, you can find high pressure air anywhere.
Dude, we found stuff on a Sunday night at like 8 p.m. before packing up and going to Bonneville.
So it's way easier than people make it out to be, first off. And yeah, as you said, we met Steve Johnson, likes to pick on and bully the NANO setup as much as you can.
You know, I'm going to have to allow him to get on here and have a rebut that at some point. So take it easy.
He does. and I hope that he comes on and I get to come on at the same time, because I can tell you
we can do that.
Catching him at the same time has been half the trouble for the last umpteen years. I mean, since we actually, the inventor of, the patent holder that invented NANO sent Steve a kit in 06, 05, somewhere in that range. And he sent it back to Tom in pieces. He dismantled it and it was destroyed. I don't know if what he was trying to do, reverse engineer it, figure it out. It's a very simple system, but it came back in pieces, destroyed. And since that point, it's been game on. I mean, anytime. Yeah.
So you guys have carried this not just since Facebook, but it's like over all social media since the beginning of AOL. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Since Yellow Bullet was only a forum, I mean, go back in time.
Here's my advice on that, man, is I'll be the Dr. Ruth of internet automotive battles, but he's probably, I haven't met the guy in person. He's probably an okay guy to hang out with in person. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like all of us
I agree.
generally are.
And the thing is, we've had some people but we actually made a rant video. Some people seen it, some didn't.
I saw
a rant video
hilarious.
After we got banned from the Nitrous Tech page.
Right.
And I don't know how you're going to offer a Nitrous Tech page and you call it Nitrous Tech, not Induction Solutions Nitrous Tech, but Nitrous Tech. And anytime someone asks a question about NANO, we get on, we answer it. I've never sales pitched on the page. I don't use it as that platform.
I would agree as well. I've read your stuff and it seemed like to be simple questions answered.
Boom, deleted.
Yeah.
And finally we got banned 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was now. And I'm to the point now where every time something gets deleted, I copy and paste the same message.
I got
Steve.
the same thing from the Power and Speed podcast fan page, even though I've been a guest on that show twice. I got blocked because I mentioned our podcast. And actually, that wasn't the real reason. There's some other guests on there that don't like me talking about some things or whatever, and they got all pissy with them. And anyway, but the same deal. And it's funny, I'm Dahlquist and the rest of these guys, some of these guys on here, there was a EFI tech support forum where if you complained about problems, your stuff got banned and you just got banned, even if you had like a question about the problems you were having.
Right. And that's my thing is I'm not here to, I'll say it flat out. I don't have a problem with Steve Johnson. I think Steve Johnson has a hell of a following.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that he's knowledgeable as hell. I mean,
he's got a great win record. You know what I mean? His customers have a good win record. Yeah.
But you're not the end all to nitrous, man. I mean, that's just all there is to it. There's other
Mike
products.
Thermos is the end all of nitrous. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of guys that have been the end all to nitrous.
No.
But, again, there's other ways to do it. And period, we are one of the best kept secrets in nitrous. And that's flat out. You may not know that the guy next to you has it, but it's out there. We're in Pro Mods, X275. We've buried LSX class records. They've outlawed us. This isn't something that's
the push stuff has been outlawed in many places because it works so good. Yeah.
13 and 14. Bobby Shahan buried the record for it was I don't remember what LSX class it was, but the jet limit in the class was a 28, and we buried the record by 3 or 4 tenths with a 24 jet. And there was talk that it was going to be outlawed, so they bumped it to a 26 jet, buried it even further just to say piss off, and left it at that. But not even touching the class limit jet. And we've been around. We just had a Pro Mod customer about a week ago call in he runs 4 of our setups on his car, and sprays that one of the biggest downfalls we have currently is one kit will only flow about 550 horse. So, each stage, if that's what you're spraying, you've got to have a couple of our kits on board. And that becomes a problem for some people. They think the weight's an issue, whatever the case may be. we have a couple prototypes. We've ran it several times, and I think it'll probably end up being released in the near future. But it'll flow upwards of 1,400 pounds per hour. I mean, it'll put some nitrous out.
Wow.
So that'll be a game changer when it comes to that. But even at that, okay. So our kit flows 550. The average guy is not going to touch that. And
You
the pro
got a
mod
guy
guys,
on our live feed chat on Facebook that's won the ultimate unlimited class at Drag Week is bragging you guys up right now. Schroeder and Enns. Yeah.
I'm too worried that I'm going to lose connection. I want to look because I see there was questions that keep getting tagged, and I want to look, but I don't want to.
It'll happen, but it's all right. You can just rejoin us if you lose it. But
let's start from the basics here and explain to everybody what the NANO system is. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a boost guy.
Right.
I've seen your systems. I've had friends that have had your systems on their car.
Yeah. What the hell are you talking about when you talk about NANO or a push regulated?
Okay.
system?
So the basics of it, NANO stands for nitrogen assisted nitrous oxide. And there's no black magic behind it. It's very simple. Okay. As nitrous leaves the bottle, it leaves a void. Okay. So on a normal basis, when that nitrous leaves that bottle, your pressure is going to continue to drop off, whether that's 2 seconds in, 5 seconds in, whatever it is, that pressure is going to start dropping immediately. Well, this system adds air back into the nitrous bottle and basically caps that nitrous and maintains a consistent pressure from the second you spray to the second that nitrous is out of that bottle, all of it. So guys, instead of the average person, they may spray 2 pounds out of their bottle and they may only get 1 pass, 2 pass, whatever they're spraying. For instance, I spray 350 on the street, and I went from getting maybe 2 hits, sometimes 3, depending on a warm night, to getting 7. So guys that, especially street guys and things of that nature, or the typical guys that want to try to hot lap you so your bottle heater can't catch up. That's a thing of the past because your pressure we set them for 950 and 900 flowing. So 950 static, 900 flowing, which is the ultimate, pressure. So
awesome. Now the second thing, a lot of guys that spray nitrous, they'll make a pass or 2 on a bottle and they'll still have 4 or 5 pounds in the bottle, and they combat the pressure drop by going back and topping the bottle off.
Right.
With nanotechnology and having a push system that introduces nitrogen on top of it.
Correct.
Are you seeing mixing of the nitrogen with the nitrous oxide?
Nope.
So natural chemical process is they kind of segregate themselves in the bottle like oil and water would in a beaker.
Exactly. And
awesome.
And our system adds it at the top. And that's one of the biggest problems we've had. And I'm actually glad I'm kind of getting public forum. So any guys that have ran this system or bought this system in the past, we used to offer a universal kit that you could add our setup to your existing bottle or your existing valve. Now we do not offer that. Well, you would have some of these bottles that look like they have a push port actually would feed it down through the dip tube. And so then you would have an issue where you were feeding straight air to your nitrous solenoids, and there'd be an issue. So some guys claim that, this doesn't work and this doesn't work, when really it's our own real fault because we offered a system and people didn't ask the right questions, or we weren't giving the correct instruction to that this may be a possibility. But yeah, it adds it to the top and it just physically caps it, pushes it out until it's gone.
Do you have a regulated nitrous bottle? Do you have a regulated nitrogen bottle, to knock the pressure down to the nitrous operating level, basically? So you have an additional bottle piggyback in the car?
Correct. There's a, the mathematical equation that says it's a much smaller bottle, but it's obviously it runs at 3,000 PSI. So, it's got a patent regulator and it regulates that to 900 flowing. So as the nitrous goes, it maintains a consistent 900 PSI to the, capping of the nitrous.
Is there a ratio of how long your push bottle lasts compared to your nitrous bottle?
It's 1-to-1. So the mathematical equation was figured out to figure out this bottle size, bottle size A needs for 10 or 15 pounds. And now we actually offer the same kit for 10 or 15 pounds. So, you may have a little pressure left over, if you're running a 10-pound bottle versus a 15, but 1-to-1. So you refill the nitrous, you refill the nano. And there's go Go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry, man. I didn't mean to. But is there a way to add more nitrous back to the bottle before it's completely empty, or is it one of the situations where you have to run the bottles completely down and then top them completely back off every time?
No, and that's what I was getting ready to finish with. That's another common misconception. What we tell people is if you flip the bottle over to where the nitrous is going to fall away from the dip tube, crack the bottle open until you see nitrous come out. Boom, you've purged out the high pressure air, and you're good to fill again.
That's awesome, because that is something that was, when you look at the system and how the system works, that was like the biggest question that I had.
Right. Right. Especially with the nitrous shortage and stuff being freaking $15 a pound and everything.
Right.
We're extremely concerned. But no, it is everything that you keep or everything that you leave in there, you can keep. So
yeah, because if somebody's got a mother bottle where they can make a couple of hits and then top the nitrous bottle back off, then that would extend the life of the nitrous bottle between refills.
Yeah.
Or the nitrogen bottle between refills.
Well, it wouldn't extend the bottle. Well, I mean, I guess it could in theory, but that gets a little, some people, common sense isn't as common. So I just tell people no. I mean, run the bottle out. I mean, if you're going to top the nitrous off, you got to top the nitrogen off as well.
Gotcha.
So again, but you can have a mother bottle in your trailer as well, or at your house for high pressure air. I mean, it's cheap. I mean, obviously bagged guys run around with nitrogen bottles in their truck for $15 fills or whatever the hell it is. But
so we actually got a really good question here pertaining to nitrous. And this is a good spot for education on it. We have Nissan be the difference in a 500 PSI regulator bottle and reflowing the jets to adjust for the lower pressure versus adding without having the external bottle to raise the pressure.
Yeah, that was way too long. Reread it here. Let me see.
He's wondering why you can't run 500 PSI to maintain bottle pressure.
Like 500 PSI of nitrous pressure. I think it's because
instead of 950.
Well, I would say, realistically, flow characteristics change upon pressure. And I think that, based on the characteristics and the chemical compound of nitrous itself, I think it's found that at 900 PSI is the optimal volume versus, resistance type deal.
It's not even in a liquid state anymore at 500 PSI, is it?
Well, I would say yes, because I mean,
we tried that at Bonneville and it did not work on the guy that with a big ass nitrous bottle, just trying to get 150 shot to go between 70 and 90 seconds.
Yeah, that is a good question, and
it tapered off on us.
I don't have that direct answer, to be honest, of why not. But
no, that's all right. If you don't have an answer, that's fine.
Yeah,
because we'd rather you say that.
I'd rather not give an answer than give a wrong one.
James Goldman wants to know how much money a NANO system costs compared to, say, a different system.
Well, the NANO is an add-on, so purchase whatever kit that whatever brand you like, Nitrous Express, Nitrous Outlet, whatever's out there, Induction Solutions, whatever. So you'd already have your bottle, you'd already have your noise. Ours is an add-on, and it's $600. That's just the cost. It comes with a new bottle valve that has our technology in it. It comes with our add-on system brackets for the bottle of our add-on system, all the labels, all that good jazz. So it is definitely an add-on. I mean, we don't offer a kit versus with noise and a whole bit. So it's kind of apples and oranges when it comes to price comparison, if you will.
Yeah, it's just a bottle supply kit.
Correct.
Schroeder Enns adds that the reason for the pressure is that the nitrous must exit the nozzle in a liquid state.
Got it.
Correct.
Now they would know.
That makes sense.
Thank you, Mr. Enns or Mr. Schroeder, whichever one of you that is. They share the same Facebook account. Two guys sharing a Facebook account. It's a little weird, but I've met them both in person. They're super cool, so they get a pass.
Well, I mean, just to have a motor like they've got in a Corvette is pass enough, right?
Oh, totally.
And four kits.
Nah, yeah. Unlimited win at Drag Week. That was a tough win too. Tough year. Oh, let's see what else. Got a lot of people listening tonight. Eric Yost has been messaging me. He says they spun on the
basically. Yeah, sorry to cut you off too. I just got the owner of NANO is listening, and he messaged me and said nitrous needs to be 750 psi to move it and keep it in a liquid state. So same thing. It's got to be at least 750 to move the weight and it be efficient at moving that weight.
Cool.
So anyway, sorry.
Jared Harlow, you're welcome. Shout out. Oh, James Goldman asks, how does it hook to the nitrous bottle? You might have missed it.
It's a 6AN line, bottle nut line. It's a 4AN line with a 6AN nut on it. So it just has a line that connects from the nitrogen bottle to the nitrous bottle via the bottle valve. It has an extra port on it.
Got it.
And you just take the bottle valve off of your bottle and put the nano bottle valve on your existing bottle.
Correct. Yep. And so when you call and you specify what kit you have, 10 pound, 15 pound, and we'd send the designated dip tube length for your system.
So I saw earlier that Janelle Smolin was listing. I wonder if that's really Matt Adams. But he really struggles with maintaining bottle pressure in his car with the heater and everything. With using the Nano, you don't even need the heater anymore?
No. Throw it in the trash, sell it to a buddy that doesn't believe in the system. Whatever works best for you. But no, heater goes away. I mean, there's times that, I live in the Midwest and I've gone out and sprayed on a December night, and I wish I would have had one just to, get it a little up, because you go through, quite a bit of Nano when you crack it open. And then the next day when it's 70 out, your bottle pressure's through the roof. You got to crack a little bit off, but no, throw it away. It's useless. Unless you're racing in December.
Are there any SFI concerns as far as the additional
No, and
model?
everything's been is DOT approved and tested and all that stuff. So I mean, it's perfectly legal, just as if your nitrous kit was on to cruise down the road and everything else. So nothing SFI, it's been tested and approved and all that stuff. And it's not, there's not like an SFI sticker on it or anything of that nature, but it doesn't. There's no rules that it's breaking or anything of that nature. So
the nitrous bottle is tested and approved to the same level of the nitrous bottle.
Correct.
Yeah, it's like any other industrial.
Actually,
bottle.
probably a little higher because our pressures.
Yeah, it's got to go. It's the next one up, whatever environment is for something containing 3,000 psi.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to know anything for a 5-pound bottle for the bike guys?
We don't offer a 5. I think we do a 2.5 pound kit. We are currently on back order on it just because we're going through some different supply chains on it. It was outrageous expensive and we're trying to get those costs down. So yes, we do offer a 2.5 pound kit, no to a 5, but it is on back order. And honestly, I don't have a current lead time. So my guess, honestly, if I probably messaged the page last week and we just don't have an answer. I wish we did, but you definitely have to go down to a 2.5 pound if it's anything from us, honestly.
So here we have this question here is interesting. He's running 85. He's planning on running C12 in with the nitrous. Is that okay to do? He has a nano system already.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fuel jet's going to change. If you're already jetted and things like that, obviously the E needs I have 25 or 30% roughly more flow. So going back to a gas, you got to rejet in that sense. But yeah, absolutely.
Do you have gauges on? Somebody wants to know if you have gauges on the nitrogen bottle to monitor that content as well.
Yep. And basically, it starts obviously at 3 psi, and when it reaches, it's a very it's not detailed, it's very small, but obviously, so when it gets to 1,000, you're pretty much empty because obviously it flows at 900. So if you see 1,000, then you're getting pretty empty there.
He also wants to know what the effect is on your nitrous gauge, and I would guess it would probably the effect would be it's not going to move; it's going to stay consistent.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the whole idea.
Yeah. Yep.
Trying to find some other questions in here. Somebody wants to know, can you use CO2 as a pusher?
I don't think so. I think that question's come up before. CO2 is also, if I remember correctly, a partial liquid. If I do remember correct, so it ends up having a mix issue.
Yeah, I don't think it can be in a gaseous state at that high of a PSI.
Yeah. So,
you guys see Barry Cook is reporting that his trans is screwed. Sorry, we're doing the live updates. He's down in South Georgia Motorsport Parts Sports Park. PTC on site, right, John?
Well, Lane Crowell's there. They took the motor out of the Camaro and they're rebuilding the motor in the pits. Why not take the transmission out of the Blazer and get the trans rebuilt?
Make it a party.
I mean, it's only Thursday night. Come on, what are you waiting for? I mean, is the trans out and on the ground yet, Barry? What's going on here?
I get it. That's pretty funny.
I had a question about the nitrous tune-up stuff. On these pusher systems, it seems the nitrous temperature, the bottle temperature changes quite a bit because, normally a full bottle would take, somewhere around 85, 90 degrees to, be 900 PSI, give or take.
Right.
Whereas with the pusher system, you could have a frozen bottle and turn the nano on and it would.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest, hurdles that we jump through, or the biggest kept secrets, is liquid nitrous or cold nitrous is more dense, meaning you're going to get more. So a lot of these, you've got to kind of find your happy medium there with temperature, as far as, 60, 80 degrees outside. Obviously, you're going to be ambient temperatures. So one thing that I always like to do that really, we'd have races out on the street, whatever, and people try to put rules on stuff. So you jet limit. Well, that's where some of these, especially class racing, when you're jet limited and you're talking about a cold nitrous versus a 90-degree nitrous, the amount of nitrous delivery is huge. So right out of the gate, we typically see a 20% flow difference, meaning we outflow, let's just say 26 jet to 26 jet, we're going to outflow it by 20%. So you've obviously got to adjust the tune up, and it can go up. Some of that stuff that was set with, LSX classes and buried that. Some of that stuff was ice bags on nitrous bottles, very, very cold, because you can flow a whole lot more nitrous through that same jet when it's cold and dense.
Yep. So, yeah, we've seen the same thing. I've been trying to kind of come up with some type of sensor input that you could input into some sort of standalone ECU to monitor the actual bottle temperature.
Yeah.
Because once it starts flowing through the nozzle, obviously it has the expansion and the cooling effect, so it wouldn't be real ideal there. But if you could actually monitor the bottle pressure itself, you could kind of skew your tune-up, based on that to
make the proper adjustment depending on what the temperature outside is, or even if you need to throw some ice on it to keep it. That's the big thing, is I just tell people, if you can try to, especially if you're doing competitive stuff. Obviously you weekends and race your street car, different stuff, but if you're talking about going on a class race and you're trying to be consistent or whatever the case is, if you know that you set your tune up and those bottles were 60 degrees, man, bring them back there. Whether that means throw some ice on it for a little bit. Obviously everyone has thermal laser temperature gauges now with them at the track for tire temp and everything else. Laser it, and see what you're getting. Because if you can keep it there, it's going to be a lot more consistent, just like taking away any sort of
any variable.
Exactly. Any variable you can automatically. So that would be a killer setup. I don't know. I'm sure there's temperature sensors out there that you just like, well, who knows? There's plenty. It's the pressure that kills them.
The pressure would be the thing. Yeah.
Wonder if you could just put something right on the bottle just to measure the actual bottle temperature itself.
Well, and our nano kits come with a thermal sticker that has, I think, 50 to 110 or something to that effect, and that actually changes with the temperature. So you can always know at least what the bottle temperature is to a pretty close. It's not obviously exact science, but you get a relatively close temperature.
You can always clamp a thermocouple or something to the side of the bottle or something. Get close enough.
They make contact temperature sensors for dry alcohol engines.
Yep, for cylinder head temperature sensors, and air-cooled guys use them too.
You could adapt one of those to the bottle and get an external bottle temperature to feed the ECU. We're using one of those contact for that. It would probably read down low enough.
No, there's K-type thermocouples meant for all different temperature ranges, man, that work just fine for that. Yeah, that's what the same thing the cylinder head guys use for Porsches and air-cooled Volkswagens. They have a whole bunch of those. You just need a K-type amplifier. Piece of cake.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty easy to figure out on that deal.
Yep.
Really simple, actually.
Yeah, and cheap. That's like a $35 sensor. The industrial. SensorConnection.com.
I guarantee you, James Short could figure out how to put a table in an ECU.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. You can even, especially on them dry shot guys.
Oh, he would have a table in the ECU for dry shot with temperature correction.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's 4D tables you can design and do multipliers and correction factors, whatever.
That would be something for the Haltech guys. That's something that the Haltech programmability lends itself to very well, doesn't it? That's the one thing I noticed about them was like you can build your own 4D table that has you covered on all that.
Yeah, they've got a really sophisticated nitrous control. I hadn't really got to play with it too much, but we recently started messing with it some on this last car that I did, and man, they've got some really crazy functions that you can do. It's pretty much anything you can think of you can do with that thing. But it's got to be dry. Needs to be anyway.
So we're going in dry?
Horrible.
Sorry, had to make it weird.
This is supposed to be a funny show, but everybody's like, "Why are these awkward pauses?" In case everybody wonders, why are all these awkward pauses tonight? It's because we're all watching the live feed for Lights Out at South Georgia Motorsports Park, the Donald Duck Long production, Duck X Productions. Those guys, they put on a good show, man. But they're having challenges because the track sat underwater for like a week. And it just started drying up like yesterday, and it's the poor prep guys. I feel for them.
Since we've been sitting here talking, I did see Keith Haney went at 380. Stevie Fast just went down and he spun.
But Stevie ran a 3:88 or something this morning.
Did he?
Yeah,
catch that.
That was kind of a.
But that was just in testing. This is actual qualifying.
Right?
Yeah.
Round one of what? 2 rounds? They'll get at least 2, and they could probably get 3. They won't get 4. They plan for 4 rounds, right, of qualifying?
Yeah. Yeah, they're still on what, round 1 qualifying
round
right
1
now?
Right here. Yeah, but just started when the show started.
Yeah.
It's only Thursday. It's only Thursday night. Duck will have them around 5 and 6 Saturday morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning.
If you're radio versus the cleanup crew, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Jake Hildebrand wants to know how much timing you're in Barry's at 38 psi. He wants to plug those numbers in his truck and break everything.
Yeah, you probably would break everything. That motor wanted 2 degrees more across the board than to make any power than the than typical LS stuff. But at 38 psi, it was like 15.5 degrees.
Am I the only one that thinks they need to cut the classes down at this race?
They get a lot of entry fee money from those bracket style classes or whatever, but yeah, it's crowded. It's crowded. There's a lot of cars there.
I mean, I understand at a certain point it's about the money, but
I don't know. I'm not good enough at the event to criticize. I mean, you're welcome to. I have a hard time being critical of anything he does, just because it's like, well, if my event like that complicated does better, then maybe I'll become a critic. But I got to talk with Donald for like an hour. He was out in the middle of a parking lot directing traffic or something. And I went up and introduced myself. I was like, hey, I've been coming to these for like 7 years. Introduced myself. You're an organizational mastermind. Really, there's so much going on. The little details he's taking care of. Everything from like having enough porta-johns and trash cans in the right places to security to VIP stuff and and then they do some pretty classy stuff at those events, and some pretty non-classy stuff too. But anyway, I got to meet the guy and talk to him, and he's obviously very business-minded and organized and intense, nothing like in his hilarious Facebook videos where his alter ego comes out. But anyway, it was interesting stuff to talk to him, and so I like the events. I wouldn't know what to suggest to change or make it run better because he's kind of breaking new ground.
Gabe Presley is wondering if we could have Donald Long on for the next guest.
I tried. I invited him and I messaged him, and he messaged me back that he has been on like 28 podcasts, and I was way too late. It was about a week ago. So he said we'd try another time, the next event, get on a little bit earlier. I do want to have Donald Long on here, though. We'll have to have a special late night R-rated episode. Get him and Marco Jim.
Can I please share something that just popped up?
Maybe.
So Earlier today, I posted a hat of mine for sale for $5.
You might not be able to talk about that.
Well, all right.
I'm legally bound not to, no, since I own the podcast, I'm legally bound not to provide a place for anyone to share negative opinions about certain brands.
This was going to the older X style, nothing to do with anything new.
You just need to avoid that like the plague.
Yeah, you probably should stay away from that topic. I'll have to edit it out anyway.
I feel like you're walking on wet toilet paper right now.
Right. You can't mention their name or whatever, but someone who's trying to shut us down. We don't like your opinions. We're going to pay money to shut you down. They're taking our jobs.
Anyway.
Moving on.
In other news.
Yeah. What are you talking about, James Short? You're talking about your 50% success rate today. I thought that was pretty bold. It's like, oh, he's getting a letter. We'll stay.
Yeah, I'll be getting a letter.
Don't worry. I'm taking the brunt of that. Don't anybody worry. But yeah. So, what else, man? Any other good questions?
I think everybody's doing the same thing that we're doing.
Jacob
watching
Lowe.
the tractors.
Yeah, watching the tractors.
Jacob Lowe asks, on Barry's truck, you said 15-ish degrees at 38 PSI. Is that typical what you will see on an efficient low back pressure turbo combo? The answer is I don't know. I haven't studied it enough to know. You'd think I would have by now, as many of these combos I've run into. But I will just say this, Jacob. We were just observing how much wheel horsepower he was picking up per pound of boost and per degree of timing, and it seemed really safe on both. I mean, we stopped, and it was still the 2 PSI was like 160 wheel horsepower at one move, and then the next one, 2 PSI, was 100 wheel horsepower. And that was to 38 and something PSI on his. We're talking about Barry Cooks. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that might be an issue where it doesn't have enough lead. Right. The cylinder head that is on that engine has a very, very large chamber, and it's an 11-degree head.
I stopped it with the timing, not because it was not picking up a bunch of power. It was still picking up a ton of power with timing, but because I was scared of the numbers. I'll be brutally honest. Well, that's why I stopped.
That's the reason why we had the conversation we had while you were tuning it, is because I knew that was going to happen. Because
motor wants what it wants.
It does. You're right.
The motor's always going to want what it wants. But the mechanical part of it, you have to understand what those two big chunks of aluminum on top of that block are going to want.
Yeah, I get it.
The chambers on those heads are even out of the box. They're really, really soft. They're not a real fast burn, a quick burning chamber.
My thinking,
like your typical LS3 head is, normally.
My thinking was this, though, guys. I decided, I told him, I'm like, man, we can go for a big dyno number. You're already making 1,300 plus at the wheels. Why don't we sneak into the rest of that at the track when we start getting some incremental numbers?
There's no reason to lean on it that much harder. That motor is still on a stock block.
Thank you.
We still have a non-priority oiling system to deal with. The last thing we need to do is have a crank touch down from the thing making 1,300 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah, it was 1,200 something foot-pounds. It was making steam.
It doesn't need to make any more.
Yeah.
It's granted, I'm happy with the combination the way it is and where it's wanting to make peak torque and where it's wanting to make peak power. But it's
he was
soft.
Concerned about it nosing over at a certain RPM, and even I was like, no, listen, we don't have the timing in it that it wants, so that power band's probably going to move
that's going to bring it back. And that's the reason why I said at 38 pounds of boost, it might want more lead because of the chamber shape and the chamber design.
Yeah. Oh, it did.
And that's just going to bring the peak RPM up.
What fuel were you all running in that thing?
Pump E85.
Did y'all have a coolant pressure sensor in it by chance?
No. All the stuff he does have, the one thing he's missing is the coolant pressure sensor and EGTs. He's got transline pressure, fuel pressure, pre and post intercooler temps, but he doesn't have... Go ahead.
Yeah, speaking of which, I was super impressed with the 417 intercooler on that thing.
Oh, did you see the data log I posted? Did you barely change the outlet temps? Barely changed at all with a huge rise in inlet temps. So it actually, for the short hit,
that thing will never work.
Right.
I can't believe people were trying to dog that intercooler. I think just continues to work perfect for drag racing stuff. But that's
and
great
listen,
eighth-mile
and
intercooler.
Get this. It was not pre-chilled.
No,
It was never pre-chilled on the dyno this time around. You know, we saw 26, 27 degree change in outlet temperature at James's last year
by chilling it.
And because we back to back, we tested that. We literally made two pulls back to back.
We didn't ice the intercooler, but like 3 or 4 pulls before this one. I'm sure it was just room temp water or better at that point. I should go back and look at the logs.
We need to put a water temp sensor in the tank.
Yeah. Blake said
on his. Say that Barry Cook has no chill.
He had no chill.
He needed no chill
this
dude.
week.
And I'll tell you what, that the guys at where he was dynoing at, Shannon Taylor's shop, Boost Addicts, they haven't had that dyno long enough to know how to turn it up or play with the inertia factors or anything like that. And I mean, they warned me. He's like, "Listen, everybody's gonna be pissed off at the numbers." And we were up till about 24 psi. Honestly, that thing was a freaking turd. It was like 600 and some horsepower at.
670 at 13.
That's what it was. Yeah, and everybody's like, "Uh-oh, man, this thing's gonna be a turd. Something's not right." And actually, Julie, you were the one. I told you what was going on. You're like, turn it up more. It'll wake up.
Well, you guys forget it did the exact same last year on James's dyno because the turbos he had last year have the exact same compressor wheel design in the turbos. That compressor wheel is an 11 plus 0, nothing but primary blade compressor wheel. And what I have found in, as many engines and as many programs as I've been involved in, that wheel is behind a traditional 6+6 or a traditional 7+7 wheel, like what's coming out of forced inductions. It's behind those style wheels till mid 20 PSIs until we get to about a pressure ratio factor of about 2.8, 2.9. Once we get to that point, it catches up. And in certain aspects, it can pull ahead, but it has to have big pressure to move a decent amount of air mass. Because the truck did the exact same thing on James's dyno. It did not make what I expected it to make at low boost pressures, and then all of a sudden
it woke the hell up. Yeah,
and it's making 100 horsepower per pound or 140 per every 2 pounds.
I was giving it what it wanted, only to the point where it was still clearly had a lot left to give.
It's still got a lot. It's still got a lot left to give.
Yeah.
There's still another 200 horsepower in that combination.
Yeah,
but the fact of the matter is even
heads, right?
It's 4-bolt heads.
It's a 6-bolt head, but it's only utilizing 4 bolts right now. It is a 4-bolt stock iron 6-liter block prepared by Mike Lowe Racing Engine. Big shout out to Mike, hell of an engine builder. And knows exactly what to give one of these engines to live.
It was good working with on this one. I enjoyed working with Barry's guys on this build.
He's a good guy. And the head on it is, I have no qualms about the head on it. The casting on that thing could survive a thermonuclear explosion in the cylinder, I think, personally. But
we're fixing to find out.
I can't wait for Barry to, as long as the truck stays together this year and he doesn't have any catastrophic failure that costs money to fix, next year it's getting a good block.
Yeah, fix your trans up, Barry. We're going to try and not break the motor big time or anything bad this year so we can budget for the block next year.
But the fact of the matter, the truck is within 2 miles an hour of the personal best mile an hour that it's ever gone on just 22 pounds of boost, and we know it's got another 400 horsepower above that point. The truck will run 136, 137 miles an hour this year without issue. And then next year, I'm going to see what we can do about trying to go 150.
Yeah, not bad for a mini truck.
Yeah, that weighs 3,600 pounds.
Another data point back on that 417 intercooler, we did that Jared's blower car and had really good results with it on it. Usually blower cars, in my experience, make a lot more heat than turbo stuff does. But, inlet temps on a beginning of a pull, 100 degrees, and it climbed 27 degrees.
That's
on
awesome.
About a 7-second dyno pull.
That's pretty good.
At 32 pounds of boost from an F1X making 1,500 wheel.
Yep.
Yeah, I hadn't even had a chance to call you and talk to you and get any data off the pulls on that car.
Yeah, I was fully expecting, on that particular style application to really test the intercooler out because, man, Pro Chargers make a lot of heat, but especially at that boost level. But, man, it passed with flying colors in my opinion.
Nice.
Yeah, and if you think that one's good, just wait.
We love Blake's stuff. Blake is the man. His June class for RealTuners is selling out. It's almost done. There's like 2 seats left. But his other class sold out. His May or April class, 1st of April class, sold out in like 45 minutes. James, your HP Tuners class has like 1 seat left. That's going to be a good time.
Sweet.
That one's going to be awesome.
Heck yeah.
We better get started on that. Let's see.
I've been working in the background a little bit.
No, I saw your starter outline stuff. That's cool because you send some of that over and I'll turn that into a nice slideshow with pictures. Yeah. So that'll be a good. That's going to be a neat class, dude. I'm looking forward to that because James and I have done classes before already, so we have the kind of understand how it flows and how people learn, and that's going to be a neat deal. I'm actually looking forward to learning from that one. I'm going to record it while James is doing most of the talking. But okay, so let's see what else. Got any other good questions coming out? Their track is getting maintained again right now. Sorry if you're following the live feed for Lights Out 9. They're dragging the track again, trying to get the prep right.
Yeah, I know we kind of got sidetracked on turbo stuff again, and here we're going to be talking about nitrous tonight.
I accidentally muted the nitrous guy because he had a bunch of background noise going, but he's back on. Sorry, Cody, you're back.
All right, you're good.
So,
good. The only way to make a turbo car better is to actually put nitrous on top.
Hell yeah! Problem spooling, 50 shot fixes everything.
Peanut butter jelly, ass and titties.
Centrifugal blowers.
Let me mark down the time. Nitrous. I got to edit that out. All right, sorry.
Really? That's got to get edited out?
Nah, I don't know.
We have a high school shop class that listens to this.
I know, now. And I feel guilty now. And it's like, I don't want to let down Dan Parker, right? The guy that was on last week. The guys. Yeah. I mean, you talk about
Dan will be all right with it.
He'll be all right.
Damn it, Tom.
Yeah. No, you're right. Dan will be all right with it. Dan's a good dude, though, man. I'm following him on Facebook. Every day's an Easter egg hunt. And he's like, God bless it, but the damn people that make underwear that decided to start putting the tags on the front now, it spent half the day being uncomfortable. He's like, get your shit together, underwear industry.
There's some things that some college kids or high school kids need to know.
Right.
Ass and titties, peanut butter jelly, turbo nitrous. That's all you got to remember.
Great. Oh, stop.
James, we need to, what's the diameter on the inlet of an F1X? Is it 5 inch? Is it 5? 5, isn't it?
I think it is.
I got a nice little chunk of aluminum here that's got some special machining on it we could try.
Yeah.
Be a good test vehicle to try that on.
Well, he's already got a nitrous kit on that car too.
I know he does, but I know he's got the kit on it with a single nozzle, but I got something a little bit better than a single nozzle.
Right. Well, I'm just saying it'd be easy to adapt since it's already there, wired up and hooked into the ECU, yada, yada.
Yep. We just have to, I still need to get that thing flowed to get the jets figured out for it. We just throw a 90 jet in it and see what it makes.
Next pair getting ready to go down the track here. It lights out. You're watching the stream on the other channel. Let's see what happens.
Sorry. John, we have a flow bench if you're interested.
I might take you up on that. I got a buddy of mine that lives in St. Louis with a flow bench, and I've been so busy with other stuff. My R&D time has kind of been non-existent here as of late.
Right.
Just trying to keep up with everything. So,
Cody, what city are you guys in?
Basically Kansas City.
Oh, cool.
Little town. Bonner Springs, Kansas.
Yeah, dude, I know right where you're at then. I'm just like 2.5 hours north of you.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
We've been up to...
I-29 is 15 minutes from my house.
Nice.
They're literally like right down the street from Jacob's house.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, actually we are. Yeah, we are.
I've spent many a night at Jacob's parents or Jacob's house and at his dad's shop there. We'll be doing
they
some
make some
more
beautiful stuff out of that shop too.
Yep. Ooh, big wheelie. Track is hooking. Look at that. Ooh. 443 and 448, 485. All right, man. That track was hooking right there.
How much boost can my no-name sheet metal intake? I bought it on eBay. How much can those handle?
Oh, here we get Bewley started.
You blew the welds on your intake, bro.
I broke one of those at about 8 psi on a buddy who thought that it would be smart to buy the cheap one from eBay.
We tuned one of those at my class to like 26 psi the other day, guys.
You want to know what's funny is like I put that post up on Facebook the day before yesterday or whatever, and it got some pretty epic level of likes and notice. But I had two people, because in the post there's the original manifold in the original post, and then I posted a second manifold that was sent to me the exact same day. And since that post was put up, I've had two more private messages sent to me of two more that have failed in the exact same spot. Wow. One of them was at 4 pounds of boost on the 2-step.
Sorry,
I still think there's guys having problems with lighting intake. Lighting of charge in the intake is what's getting them. But I mean, I've seen them flexing though. It's going to wear out and break anyway. But
I mean, there's that's a lot of square inches. Though.
Tons. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure that thing's got to take.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I could see on a 2-step. I could see on a 2-step especially because it's going to get some reversion, and normally that stuff lights so late into the combustion cycle, it shouldn't reverse back up into the intake. But if they don't have some sort of timing retard or something, and it's just shutting cylinders down, it could definitely back up and backfire as short as the runners are on those things.
So the one that I sent you, John, that you were talking about that my buddy had the issues with, he actually called them, and that company talked to them, and they said, well, we don't recommend this for boost. And he goes, it doesn't say this anywhere on your website. So,
right.
How are you going to make you can't make up the rules as we go.
Right. And now that intake is no longer recommended for boost, you have to buy the one. You're supposed to buy the one that they cut the top off of and put a flange in the middle because that fixes everything.
Is that kind of like that certain fuel pump 12 dash?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that now says not recommended for ambient temperatures over 90 degrees.
Right,
like,
exactly.
The entire racing season. Nah, it's not bad for that, though.
Yeah. But yeah, there's actually a couple of guys. The one that you sent and the other one, and then that guy, the guy that you sent me, his explosion was so epic though.
Oh,
because did you see the intercooler?
Yeah,
I did. So he called me today. Did I tell you guys about that in the chat? So this poor guy, I'm not going to mention names. He knows who he is if he's listening. He got a little confused on how the boost control works, and basically
switching from manifold source.
Yeah.
CO2 source. Yeah.
The 80% duty cycle does not mean 80 PSI.
I saw that one.
So basically pinned his wastegate shut.
Yeah.
My question is, did the motor survive?
The motor no, it did not.
No. The rod got significantly shorter.
The intercooler did not survive.
The intercooler looked like a basketball. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, the intercooler, like all the square tubes, and they were now round, and like it looked like it was on a wide angle lens. The picture,
it looked like it was on a fisheye lens because the middle of the intercooler is about 2 inches thicker than the end tank.
Yeah.
So they just had a guy hit the wall and drag stuff across both lanes. Looks like he's okay. Got his chutes out, recovered. But
yeah, who was it? I think did they say it was Kenjo Kelly? Is that dude?
Is that who that is? That's a nice car.
He just wrecked that brand new Pro Mod.
Yeah,
that crazy looking. What is that thing?
It's a Mustang. Chevy. It's like a '67 Mustang.
Okay, no, then
that's a different
gray.
one.
Not him.
Kenjo's car is gray with darker gray.
This one's black with white.
7.
Yeah, I got no clue who that is. Because Kenjo is supposed to race Shadow.
Hang on, we got Eric Yost calling in. Let's get him on the phone. Eric Yost, live from Lights Out 9. How's it going, man?
Good. How about you?
Good, dude. So what's the story? We just saw somebody run into the wall there. They're going to be cleaning up for a while.
Yeah. Another cleanup.
Radio versus the cleaning crew.
Oh, yes.
So, what happened there with it? Well, you know what? It looks like the track just started coming around like this last couple of passes.
Yeah, I don't think they have the rubber down yet. They've been working it a lot, so it's coming around, but it's definitely not there yet.
So
So hopefully
How do they
it'll
get
come
the
around.
rubber down if everybody's on a radial? Or is it the...
Yeah, I mean, everybody's spinning, so they're putting it down, further on out. But, they tried to do the Pro Comp and Outlaw 632 to try to get some of that stuff, the big tire stuff to put rubber down. And,
right.
They're dragging it and doing the rotator and all, trying to get rubber down. So there's been some rumors they had some of the mix messed up yesterday. They were trying to spray the wrong compound. Or
is there any truth to that?
So,
it looks like they were showing pictures of them scraping it up like brownie mix.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just rumors.
Yeah. Well, but now let's give them a break, because we had guys there on site 3 days ago said that there were 2 inches of water on the track for like 4 days straight. So
and this place has never been good for draining water off. So,
yeah, it's the
that's
South.
Definitely not good.
Right. Oof.
Mike Perduto says it's Lester hit the wall.
Shane Lester?
It just says Lester.
Lester who, Perduto?
57 Chevy.
Yeah.
I think a new combo they just got together.
It's a pretty car.
Yeah.
And it's not trash or nothing. They hit the wall kind of good on the right side, but he recovered it.
Yep.
Eric, whose cars are you down there with? Are you down there with Lyle's car?
Yeah, we're with the Dart, Digby Dart with Lyle driving, and Mark Rogers, 03 Cobra for Ultimate Street. So we're making some pretty good headway with it. And Brad Edwards is pitted beside us, Justin Martin, the Nova. We're all HED motor stuff, so we're all pitted here in a row.
Very nice. How's we saw the pass that Lyle made. It looked like he had some issues on the last one there. How's that car doing?
It's it went 438 at 183 earlier today, so it was decent. Had a pretty good back split with the new converter, so it's working what they want. Just went 118, just to do something to get down the track conditions earlier today, but definitely put more to it this pass, last pass, and didn't quite take it, 40, 50 foot out. So went to like 148.60, so almost went 60 foot.
What significant changes have you guys made on that car since you set the record with it?
Just numerous stuff. I mean, did a carbon front end over the winter. New bull horns, power suppression, freshen the motor up. They run Bradenton last weekend or 2 weeks ago. Run good there, came back, and the crank was coming out of it. We knew it was, and it's kind of hard to find a Hemi 440 block crank. So was getting a billet crank built from Crowler, and it wasn't back from nitrites, getting all that done. So we had to put a Chinese crank in it, basically. So a lot of the blown alcohol guys run them. They run them, like 2 races and then junk them. Get another one in. So it has a Chinese crank in it for this race to get through. But doing the front end and doing some other stuff, the fireballs and all, changed some weight around. So we had to move a little bit of weight here and there. But Bradenton run good, and should run pretty good this weekend, we hope.
Very cool. If you guys listening are unfamiliar, this is Eric Yost. He's owner and operator at Customs by Big End, and he's talking about the Dart. What year is that car?
69.
69 Dodge Dart is the quickest and fastest leaf spring car in the 8th mile in the world, if I believe that's correct, right?
I believe so. Yeah, 417 at 185.
Yep. Tooth Jerker is the name of the car. What's the power plant and rundown on that one more time for anybody that doesn't know?
It is a 522-inch Predator-headed Mopar, 118 precision on alcohol, single set of injectors, Holley EFI, 2-speed 400 turbo, performance, 30-50. Here's what we got away for LDR for weight, leaf spring, Assassin bar, nothing too fancy, stock frame rails front and rear. And yeah, it works.
So what are you guys looking to get done this week? How many qualifying rounds do you have left?
We're supposed to have one tonight, but the curfew got lifted here. They changed counties or zoning or whatever, so we're not sure how late it's going to go. So in the early years here, that's been 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So maybe they'll go back to that same schedule and we'll run some more rounds tonight. So if that's the case, we'll get a round of qualifying tonight and then 2 rounds tomorrow.
Are you guys, I don't know how much experience you have on the tune-up on that car for like bad track conditions. Is it worth, I mean, are you guys, I mean, some of the strategies are just wait till the track comes around because we know when it does, our tune-up will be on, or do you mess around in qualifying? At what point do you try and chase track conditions?
We have to. I mean, you never know what hot weather, track, or, you might go into eliminations. It might be, 100 degrees and 140 track temp. So you got to have some tune-ups in your box. So this is a new converter, playing with charge pressures and all that. We use a lot of that to our advantage on the first half of the track.
Yeah.
For converter charge pressure to get the car to get down a bald spot or a greasy track or a crappy track.
That 100 to 120 foot point is tricky at that track every year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And the sun is drastically important.
Oh yeah. Or when the sun goes down and one lane gets it an hour before the other. Yeah.
Yep.
It's an interesting place. It's a tuner's game down there, man. I'm enjoying the hell out of watching it. I just hope everybody has a little better luck, but hopefully it gets better for you guys. We'll be watching.
Yeah, for sure. RVW is always a tricky one. Everybody's trying to, set the world on fire. So, put 4,000 horsepower down and, everybody's swinging for the fence first off. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I see they got the tow truck out there, or the flatbed. They're going to haul this guy off.
Yeah, Mike said it was Lester Johnson.
Ouch, that sucks. Car's pretty messed up.
There's a ton of RVW cars that have never showed up here that are here. I believe trying to run the race for next month. They're showing up, trying to get a handle on stuff. Yeah. And I don't think a lot of them know what they're in for.
Right. Gonna hurt some parts this weekend. Yeah. Well, again, it's a tuner's race. That's why it's so damn interesting to watch on the live feed. See who's figuring it out,
Absolutely.
I still like how the blower cars do with the zoomies. You can tell they're getting a good advantage in that front split by having all that downforce. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You can see it. You can tell the cars are squatted. You can see less weight transfer. It's like the things are glued down. I don't know. That's a Billy Stockland thing. I've heard him say that before, and that's those guys seem to have that front half figured out, or they'd have seem to be doing it the best.
Right.
So, cool. Well, we'll keep watching on the live feed if you hang out as long as you like. Otherwise, if you got to get back to work, knock yourself out. But thanks for the heads up. We'll be watching.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. What are the questions? Anybody else got questions?
Trying to breeze through some of these here, I think.
Barry Cook post minutes ago said the trans was coming on the truck.
Is he taking it out?
Yeah, he said he's taking it out.
We got to get Barry on the line. Tell us what's going on. I'll message him. Eric, feel free to hang out as long as you like, or you can just hang up whenever you get bored. Whatever. Phone's working good from the track. It must not be overcrowded yet, but the next 2 days when it gets crowded, the internet goes to shit there, and the live feed goes to crap, and the phone service goes to crap.
Oh, yeah. We got back to the pits, and everybody gets their phone out. Whoever gets the best service for the live feed, that's when we watch. So.
Exactly. And you basically increase the size of that local town's population by a factor of 14.
Yeah. Yes.
They don't exactly have cell phone service for more than about 50 people at a time.
Yeah, that's 2G.
Right.
Yeah, we were coming in today, and 2 years ago, they had so many people here they had to get all the farmers' fields, to park in for parking, and most all of those were standing water. So it was like, oh man, I hope they don't, get that many people again because they will not have any place to park, or it'll be a mud bog, so which will be pretty cool too.
I'm messaging Barry now for an update.
Trans is coming out. I know Kenny and Lane are.
He's got some good hands with him
weekend.
there. I mean, he's got some good mechanical talent down there. The engine guys are with him and stuff. They'll get it out. They'll get it done.
There's at least somebody at the track who can get that 400 apart and back together. It just, I don't know. If
I knew something was wrong. Did I don't know. Did I tell you the?
You
it
told
blew
me about
through
the charge
something.
pressure.
If it wasn't the converter, had something downstream.
Well, the charge pressure was probably so low it affected.
Dropped
it
14
affected
pounds.
Something.
Yep.
I hope it didn't do something stupid like roll the fins in the converter. That's the only thing I could think that it would do inside the converter, chew the stator up.
Right.
As long as the converter is okay, the transmission can be gone through.
Yep.
So Mike Perduto added he thinks that the Roots and screw blower cars have the advantage down low because they have all the power they want and they can control it up and down as necessary. The turbo guys are still trying to get the big compressors turning.
That may be the case, but I think it's easy enough for even the turbo guys with the big inches to kill the tires at the hit. Like, I don't know that the turbo guys are having trouble making power in that first 100 feet. They don't get the weight break, so the car doesn't leave as hard. And it's not as consistent, but I mean, honestly, that's you hear again and again from the experienced tuners that the blower and the Alki blower Pro Mod motor guys with the zoomies pointing straight down get a lot of downforce advantage.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing is that, a lot of the non-blower guys complain about, well, if you took zoomies away from the blower cars, it would take away the majority of their advantage.
That's what a lot of tuners say. I've heard Petty say that, and I've heard Billy Stockland talk about it.
Perduto also says, John, Suncoast is at the track with their trailer. Tell him to go find Suncoast.
Yeah, I'll hit him up. I'll get Suncoast.
Here's
I'm actually in the
question.
process.
Do you guys ever see converter damage from dumping, from doing the pressure dumps?
No, not really.
You're doing it pretty short.
Can be, but not really. Just trying to get the trans and converter cooled down as quick as possible when you get back to the pits is pretty big. Just trying to get it consistent between rounds, especially if you won rounds with it or whatnot. But not really on the pressure wise, not too much.
Gotcha.
What's an alarming transmission temperature? Like if you're coming up the return road, when do you go, oh crap, something's wrong?
Well, I've drove my Camaro Rocky Mountain Race Week, going up through Colorado mountains, pulling however much elevation, pulling the trailer, and I seen 280, 290, somewhere in there. So it's just one of them deals where you really don't have a choice, So you get to the track and you pull the dipstick and you smell the fluids, and man, that smells really bad.
That's a hellacious drive going the foothills out of Nebraska. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we've seen 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 foot of elevation change, and it's insane. And it's so hot. This year drag week could be the same, depending on where they take us from Z-Max to Bristol. If they take us up 321, 421, it could definitely be the same, if not worse, hills. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting this year for sure.
When running nitrous with a turbo setup, should the nozzle be before or after an intercooler?
After. Well, I don't think it matters really if it's wet shot.
It depends on if
it's fuel.
Yeah, it just depends on if it's wet or dry. If it's wet, it needs to be after. If it's dry, it can be before.
Troy Clark just wanted to give a shout out to Motion Raceworks. He says he bought a couple items from them recently thanks to the show. Picked up a steering column and a parachute mount.
Nice.
So I don't know if y'all have seen the whole Stevie Fast and Keith Haney videos from the past couple of weeks or whatnot.
Some of us have talk about it
back and forth. Stevie calling the pocket midget out and this and that. So supposedly Haney could not get down to weight. 2350 is his weight for RVW nitrous. and he pulled one chute off. So he's running one chute, and supposedly somebody is raising Cain about that to NHRA or whoever, but not naming any names. But supposedly that's a rumor, and which the rule is 200 mile an hour. Well, he runs 196, 197. So it should be interesting to see how that pans out.
Interesting. If he runs 200, do you think someone's going to protest that?
Don't know.
Oh man.
I mean, it could be, from what the rumor I had from what team it came from, it could be processed now. I don't know. But
guess we'll see. Looks like
how does that work in competition? If you get a slap on the wrist for breaking the rule once, or are you void?
I don't know. I mean, it's not a. The tech this year was way stricter than it has been. They had a chassis tech guy here on site, so if your chassis cert was out of date, they sent you in this other line. A bunch of guys' seat belts were out of date, and they had a bunch of seat belt failures to replace, and so I don't know what they would do on that end of it.
So who knows what's going to happen? Interesting. Still on track cleanup right now. Track maintenance. Still on round 1 qualifier. Do you think they'll get a second round in tonight? I do. I think they will.
I think they've got no time 315, no time 275, Ultra Street or Ultimate Street, LDR, Pro 275.
Left to run yet?
Yes.
Oh, shit, no.
X 275, so X is a huge class, too. So that's
and weeknight curfew at this track?
There's no curfew now.
Got it, okay.
Yep.
Could be a late nighter.
Yeah, so like I say, the first couple of years I came down here, we run 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was no issue at all.
So he'll run until 3 in the morning if there's no curfew.
That'll be nice. I mean, I'm game. I'm everybody's.
As long as the dew point doesn't hit you.
Yep, that's it. So right now, it's probably 68 degrees, a little bit of dew, but I don't know exactly what it is. But it's nice.
Nice. That's good to hear. It's good at least that the weather's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we needed a break up here, man. It's been cold as a mofo. But anyways, all right, cool. Well, let's see. Barry has not responded. That means he's underneath the truck. That's good. I'm just going to keep messaging him and say, like, what are you doing answering your messages? Get back under the truck. What else, guys? Anybody else in the crowd got questions? Jared Harlow's asking a bunch of questions. Hold on. What's he getting at? Has anyone made decent power on the 85 EFI and non-intercooled? Yeah, but I don't like pushing the 85 non-intercooled. I'll leave it at that.
That's my whole deal with drag week. We won drag week 2014 on E85, and made 1140, 1150 to the tire.
Were you intercooled?
Non-intercooled.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yep. So, I mean, right now we're making a good bit more power on alcohol. And, Frank Saponara, same boat I am, is way safer for us to run it on M1 on a safe tune-up than pushing the limit on E on burning shit up. So, the rule came out and they did, do away with the alcohol. If you run alcohol, it's unlimited, whatever. But it's alcohol injection, 2.5 gallons. So there's a little bit of leeway there we can work with. So.
Yeah, good. I don't like pushing the ethanol. It definitely has its limits, and its limits are different than gasoline. It's not a hard knock, but it's still a big nasty pressure spike.
Yeah, it usually breaks parts.
Yeah, it's what I've run into too. Gets violent.
Puts a lot of holes in pistons and cylinder heads.
Yes.
Sometimes blocks.
Yeah. Haven't seen too much motor carnage, but I think it's because nobody's been able to put real power down at the event yet this tonight and yesterday and tonight. But I think if the track starts coming around, it'll be the typical, like we call it, radial versus the cleanup crew.
Hodson blew one up.
Yeah.
Yeah. LS and that gray Camaro from up in Indiana.
Oh, the 260 guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Beischer down there this week? Is he racing or is he just crewing?
I don't know if Chris is down there or not.
I thought he was there, but I don't know if he's racing or crewing, what he's doing.
Say, Chad Spire just posted that Joe Sherman of Sherman Racing Engines has passed away.
Oh, no way.
Oh, man.
Downer.
I know Steve. I've met him a couple times, his son.
Yeah, that sucks. Joe Sherman. Rest in peace, brother. Of him from Engine Masters.
He won the very first one, didn't he?
Yep. I hear him going off in the background down there. It's funny. Sorry for the awkward and boring pauses tonight, people, but we're all keeping an eye on the live feed for qualifying round 1 of Lights Out. Highly recommend. You find that on YouTube, Motormania TV. You just search Motormania TV on their YouTube channel, and they got their live feed.
I'm looking at cats on the internet.
You would be looking at cats on the internet.
Yeah, he's the cat guy. We got a show.
Got a question that popped in here on Facebook from Austin Sean Runyon. He's asking any insight on if a Holley 160 pound will support 1,300 horsepower. What fuel?
Before Tom Sewell has a heart attack, get rid of the Holley injectors.
How many sets have you had? 3 sets this week?
3 sets this week. A Holley injector screwed up,
and it's not Holley. It's not their fault.
So.
It's not their injectors, but they're old design injectors.
Yeah, I'm going to stay quiet on that. I get a lot of those in that they say just throw them in the trash.
Well, they're cheap because they're old design. They're easy to replace.
We've had a lot of failures on those as well. I prefer not to mess with them either, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. As far as supporting a certain amount of power, it all depends on how much boost and how much fuel pump and what kind of base pressure you're running.
There you go, Austin. A lot of variables there. You should probably eliminate the one that has an H in front of it.
Tom Vigu points out that Joe Sherman was the godfather of the 383. It's a little before my time, but I just remember the first Engine Masters Challenge is when I heard
at the true 160 flow, if it's rated at 43 and you're actually using 43 psi, you should get around. You might be able to get 1900 on C16 at the flywheel before they're done, assuming everything else keeps up. E85, you're good to about 1400 before it's, and I'm talking 100% duty cycle here, so completely out. And then like alcohol, you're good to somewhere around 1,000, maybe 900, depending on how fat you got to run it.
And you're talking flywheel numbers, right?
Flywheel horsepower, yeah. Just by the flow math, just by what it should put out.
And assuming a rough BSFC.
Right, assuming a rough BSFC. I mean, if you jack up the pressure to like 60 psi to start, you get a little bit more out of it, and a lot of guys will do that for that reason. I mean, 30 pounds of boost, you're at 90 psi,
And that's 8 of them, just in case somebody's asking about those on a 4-banger or something.
Right.
Correct. 8 of them. 4-banger, divide by 2. Yeah, if you jack it up to like 60 psi, you can hit on E85. You could probably hit 1,300 pretty safely. It's just a matter of, does the rest of your system support the 1,300 safely? Because again, we talk about needing an intercooler. It's do you not? It's way better if you do. You're going to get there easier with an intercooler on E85. Gas, you're well up into well above that. Alcohol, you're probably still not quite there. If you're talking 1,300 at the tire, you're 35% loss to the transmission, maybe more on some of them. You get a turbo 400, you might see dyno numbers. I've seen as much as 44% out of a turbo 400. So, the numbers might not show it, but the time slip will.
Yep. People don't believe me when I say it's real common to see on a 1,000 horse engine combo or more that 35 to 40% loss from a Superflow or DTS style, industry common dyno to like a Mustang or a Dyno Dynamics or any torque measuring chassis dyno, load bearing type dyno. People think that I'm crazy, but that's just where they do at that horsepower range. I don't know what they do at 4,000 horsepower. I don't think it's a direct percentage, but it's around. It's that's the numbers they lose in the range that most of us are playing in.
It seems to be like a percentage plus a chunk.
Yeah.
So I got a question. I thought about this the other day because I see it a lot online. Like dyno numbers are subjective. This dyno is better than that one. Doesn't matter as long as they're consistent. The track is the only number that matters. So, room full of experts here. When you guys are reading something, when you read a dyno number, when do you go, "Oh, that is impressive"? As far as like what dyno somebody makes a decent horsepower number on it, do you say, "Yeah, that's legit"? Is there a certain one out there, or are they all just
from
if you make over 1,000 on a Mustang dyno?
Yeah,
it's
Mustangs
impressive.
are the heartbreakers.
If you make over 1,000 on James Short's dyno,
you're doing something. Yeah.
I mean, I would say any loaded dyno versus they're power robbers, man. I mean, people are broken all the time.
I think they're reading real power, and it's the other ones that are kind of overestimating to be good marketing decisions. It's not.
If it's just an inertia dyno, they all read really high. But if you've got some kind of eddy brake current to it, you got something that's putting some force back at it that controls the pull, then you can get a lot better reading.
Yeah, some of them.
I think it's all relative to what you're used to, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you really want a reference, tell them to strap down your daily driver first that makes 120 horsepower and see what it does. And then at least you know if it's close or if it's going to be low or if it's going to be high. I mean, you can figure out from the manufacturer. If they say your car makes 300 horsepower from the manufacturer, it makes that at the flywheel. Take away 30 to 40%. And if it makes that on the dyno, you know it's accurate. If it makes less, it makes
Tom says always look at uncorrected numbers and fuel flow. And then you kind of get a feel for how many cubic inches, what turbo, if it's turbocharged, or if you're spraying it with nitrous. You just get a feel after working on a couple hundred different combos as to what makes sense. And you can spot a bullshit dyno figure on YouTube almost instantly, because you start to figure out how much power per cubic inch should a decently developed engine combo make for a given aspiration. And right away, you can spot the guys who are bullshitting their dyno numbers on their YouTube videos right away. Brad and Tom both are really, really good at spotting that. Just thought that's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's
physically no.
Yeah, it's funny. You see somebody that's got like an 80-pound injector and they're claiming like 1,300 horsepower on ethanol.
Right.
It's like, no, bro.
No. Yeah.
Alex Raber wants to know, hey, Cody Bruce, why doesn't Nano sell the 4,500 PSI kit?
Well, the 4,500 pound kit hasn't been out for, I don't know, a few years now, but two main reasons. A, the cost to have that bottle hydro to 4,500 PSI would make that kit probably $1,000 today. But B, the biggest thing is we understand the system sometimes is a little harder for people to get what they need. So trying to find someone to fill 3,000 PSI seems to be a struggle enough for some guys, but trying to find someone that'll fill 4,500 PSI was becoming non-existent. So it kind of got to that point where the 3,000 PSI kit does everything in the same exact form that the 4,500 pound kit. It just, weighs probably 1.5 pounds more because we created a bottle that held more volume, to take the 3,000 PSI versus the real tiny 4,500 PSI bottle. So it was just kind of a cost-effective thing for keeping the customer happy and makes it a little easier too on inventory, less parts to have around and that kind of thing.
There's somebody on Facebook asking, what fuel injector brand do you have good luck with? That's pretty simple. Fuel injector development. Tom Sewell call.
Doesn't seem biased at all, but we'll go with that.
Not even a little bit. He'll set you straight, hook you right up.
So next question was for Little John. At what point do you recommend a custom ground camshaft versus one of your off-the-shelf cams?
Well, that depends on the combination. If you've got something that's in line with what the shelf cams were developed for, as far as cubic inch cylinder head intake manifold and RPM, unless you're wanting to try and turn more than 7,500, or you've got a big inch motor. Most of my camshafts are designed for the stock stroke stuff, 4.8, 5.3 stroke. Most of the time, the only time anymore I get into the custom stuff is when guys have got engines like that want to turn 7,500 plus, or they've got a 4-inch stroke motor, 408, 427, 440, or do a solid roller. But I've been able to expand the shelf cam line enough that there's not very many combinations with a 6 liter or a 5.3 that a shelf cam won't work. And while I've got the mic and the attention, if anybody at SGMP knows somebody that has brought service parts for a Turbo 400, let us know via Facebook Messenger or something. I just found out that the Suncoast guys do not have any 400 service parts in their trailer. They didn't bring anything with them. So if anybody knows of another company that's got clutches, band, deals and stuff for a 400 that might be required for Barry to rebuild his trans, let us know. Hit us up. Let us know if you don't mind.
I know Proformance, Dave Proformance always comes down. I will find out when he is going to be here or if he's here now. But he always brings down a goodie package of all sorts of stuff. So he should have everything he needs.
Thanks,
I know Rodney and RPM's there. I don't know if they brought parts to work on transmissions or not. I know they're there racing.
Yeah, I don't know if Rodney brought anything either. I'd have to find out, but I'll let Barry know. Thanks, Eric.
No problem. I'll find out if he's here yet, but I know he's always here every year. So just hit me up and I'll find out for sure.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it.
Somebody's jamming the live feed.
It's pretty loud here.
My guess is John.
I actually know it's not me this time. I've got
No, you know what it is? It's coming over the phone.
I've got everything. I even turned my cell phone down tonight.
It's the background. It's the phone that's coming through Eric. It's actually the PA. He's by the speakers. That's okay. I bring it over.
Eric Hingebretson, the Compstar cranks are fine for mild applications, but it's still a Chinese forging and it still has its limitations. It's not a crankshaft you would use in a 2,500 horsepower, 3,000 horsepower, 8,500 RPM engine, 9,000 RPM engine. It's you have to understand the limitations, but they're a better crankshaft probably than a stock cast crank. There's different levels, but the Compstars are fine. In that price range, I prefer Molnar. That's my personal choice, but the Compstars are fine. I've had good luck with other brands that are all in the same price range, but it is what it is.
There's metallurgy concerns with any cheaper budget crank. They might have a good batch, might have a bad batch, so you kind of roll the dice a little.
Yeah, with the Compstars in a 3,200 pound box body with an LS60 iron block and that Compstar crank, I was running an 80 172, and I was changing bearings out like twice a year because of the flex.
It's more about the torque that it makes than it is about anything. It's just like with the stock cranks. Once you get to a certain point, the thing turns into a wet noodle anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. I've been there, done that a few times.
Yeah. If you're not given a stock crank or even a Compstar crank, if you're not giving them 3 thou on the mains, you're going to end up landing a bearing.
I was definitely 3 on the mains, and it was still getting them at that level. It was definitely a wet noodle in there.
I've noticed
itself.
Yeah, I've noticed. Depends on if it's aluminum or iron block for one, because the aluminum block will move around a lot. And I've also noticed that it depends on where peak torque is in the RPM range and what the power adder is. It seems like nitrous stuff and blower stuff seems to hammer the crank a lot harder than a turbo setup does. I don't know if you guys have had any experience with that, but that's just what I've seen out of the stuff that I've dealt with.
Well, I mean, that's what everybody sees. The turbo stuff is always seems to be the easiest on the crank. And, I mean, the SBE guys, is the way they've been pushing these things, and everybody's figuring out that RPM is your friend and not your enemy. If you've got peak torque at 5,500 or higher, the actual, the time exposing the crankshaft to the power stroke in every hole is shorter. So the duration of stress is shorter. And that's helping parts live.
Well, the force of on each journal the crank is less. I've kind of got it mapped out on our particular dyno. If you're making anything over 900 foot 5,000 RPMs, that crank is flexing. So basically, limit timing, limit boost, limit nitrous, limit whatever you got to limit to keep it under that threshold to keep that thing together. But
for a turbo,
it's
never unloads the rod, so you're always better with a turbo deal for being
it's
an
softer
ease
power.
Of softer power.
Yeah,
so,
it never unloads the rod, so it doesn't have to yank in both directions. Right, right.
So a cut car always would blow up, those going into the corner unloaded, at 9,500, you let off the throttle, boom, it blows up, unloading the rod. Where a turbo deal was never, you got boost and back pressure on the rod at all times, so it never unloads it. So they say that's the better way of
making big
being
peak
easy
cylinder
on
pressure.
it.
Yep. Not yanking on the rods. I get that.
Yeah. You don't see any stock LS rods turning 8,500 on an actual aspirated motor. They'll come apart.
Well, I mean, all you got to do is look at Barry's failure on the stock bottom N53. This thing goes out and makes 1,050 or something to the ground, stock L33, and then he forgets to air the tires down. He goes out, sticks his foot in it, the truck spins and smacks the limiter at 7,200 and literally pulls a rod apart right underneath the wrist pin. I mean, that's a perfect example of, not having, it spun, unloaded. There's no residual cylinder pressure, on the power stroke to literally have some cushion for the piston to push against and to keep from letting the rod unload. And it upped the stress on the rod when it changed direction at top dead center.
Yeah, that little bit of compression keeps the rod pushed together. Doesn't allow it just to flop around like a noodle in there.
This is why I love that show. I'm sorry, like these aha light bulb, like new enlightenment moments. Like I feel like I just prestige on Call of Duty hearing all of that.
Perduto does point out that diesel isn't any different, John. So don't be a girl and spin that truck of yours. I mean, that thing, you should rev that like all the way up, like maybe 1,500 RPM.
1,500. Listen,
I added that part.
I know that because Perduto's been calling me a girl about being scared of what happened the other night. Because I went out, and, I'm kind of into the hot rod Cummins thing with my truck, and it's probably making. Oh, don't even start on me.
Poor Cummins fellas.
Yeah, I know, right?
He's a hard parker.
It might make about 600.
He's got a bro dozer.
I do not have a bro dozer. I will kick your ever-loving ass. I will kick your ever-loving ass.
Even have free spin
whatever.
Free concrete farmer, man.
I do have a serious question. Do you leave your tow mirrors out?
No. The only time my tow mirrors get flopped out is when the trailer is on it.
What about your Bluetooth trailer?
So never.
It's a single axle, 600-pound trailer from Tractor Supply.
No bullshit.
That mower.
Hey, I just had I was literally I pulled the car to I took a buddy of mine's car up to 10 Soldiers the other day and gave it a checkup. And I just had a trailer on my truck like a week ago. So don't give me that bullshit.
We had to walk around the truck to ears out. Got my trailer home.
I just reach out and flip them out.
Just leave the passenger one laid down or what?
No, I flipped the other one out too. I sit too far forward. I got to have them out a little bit to see around the Hallmark, the wide ass trailer.
We love doing dyno days with diesel guys, and I do like the Cummins. I'm a Chevy guy by heart, so the Duramax has my heart. But
Fucking Isuzu motor.
Cummins guys, man, every time they show up, they got an edge tuner on it, hat backwards, mirrors up. It's going to make 600, man. Dead serious. It's going to make 600, makes 240 to the tires. Smokes its ass off. EGTs are 1800, and they're mad as hell at us. Like, it's our problem. It's like, man, come on. Every time.
Well, my truck's got HP tuners on it, so it doesn't have an edge on it. I got that. My hat, when I wear a hat, the bill is in the front, not the back. And
you're like the unicorn, man. The Cummins unicorn,
right? And my truck, has made a genuine 500 on the dyno. So,
yeah, but does your girl sit in the middle of the truck?
What girl?
I don't know. I'm just saying. Does she sit in the middle and fold the center console up?
Man, if I had one, I guess she would. I don't
know. Slip her the old digits when.
I think it might have been a good idea that he cut out right there.
Yeah. I think he got muted.
God, are you writing down these times?
This whole gray area.
Oh my goodness! But Perduto's giving me crap because the truck kind of worried me the other night. I went out and made a hit, and she turned about 4,300 RPM in third gear, and it wouldn't shift to overdrive, and I kind of got nervous.
Hey, I'm going to cut Eric loose. Sorry, Eric, because I'm going to get Barry Cook on the line here. I'm going to cut you off, and I'll get him going. But I'll.
I'm going to go try to find Dave and catch up with Barry, see if I can get him hooked up.
Oh, awesome, man. That's awesome. Thanks, dude.
All
Good
right,
luck
man.
down there. We'll be watching tonight. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
All right, bye. Cool. We'll try to get Barry on the line. Carry away, guys. Here comes Barry.
Man, that just got killed.
I can't believe you muted me, man.
Welcome to the podcast. I hope it's Barry.
Hello?
Hey, is it Barry?
Yeah.
What's up, dude?
Nothing. I'm a zombie.
So your trans got to come out?
Yep.
Dude, I knew it. I could tell we blew through something.
Yeah. I talked to Cameron. He said he thinks that the forward clutches are welded together.
Yeah. So have somebody drill that damn restrictor orifice.
Yeah.
While you got it out. Get more line pressure.
That's the plan. We're going to get it out, and we got to see if we can find somebody to help us fix it.
So Eric Yost was just on the podcast. They're going to come looking for you. They're going to come help you out.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Nice.
Dave,
I'm already a zombie from last night.
Yeah. Sorry.
So tired. Oh, dude.
I had him on a goose chase last night.
We were only up till 2:30 in the morning. But
well, you got some time to get it fixed. You got a couple days.
Well, technically, we got till tomorrow.
Tomorrow
is the second round of qualifying, and that's it. So I got to make the field, and even that's going to be next to impossible because they're all fast.
Actually, we say that, but everybody's having trouble getting down the track.
Well, that's true.
Right time.
It is.
You may make
it is horrible down here.
Yeah.
So it is crap.
First couple days are always rough, man. It's a tuner's game. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Duck looked like he was freaking out up in the tower a little bit ago when we went up there trying to look for parts.
Try to get that drive shaft sensor replaced too. Doug don't have one, but somebody will.
Yeah.
Make the DIY guys bring some down from their office in Atlanta or something.
Yeah. Jerry and got down earlier, but I was in the middle of pulling transmission, so. But yeah, we're working on it. We're gonna try to get this thing out and see if we can't find somebody to give us a hand fixing it and see if anybody's got parts. We went down and talked to Mark Mickey, and he kind of looked at us like we were crazy. He's like, "Who built it?" We're like, "Jake." He's like, "I don't know who that is. I'm not touching it."
Yeah.
So, which I can't blame him. I mean, he didn't build the transmission.
No, there's a bunch of guys on site. We'll talk to you offline, but Yost is going to come find you.
All right. Cool beans, man. All right. I just want to call and update you, man.
Good deal. We appreciate it, and good luck. We'll be watching. Everybody else is watching.
All right. Thanks, man.
Later. Bam. Love that phone capability. Isn't that nice?
Is tomorrow the last day of qualifying then, or do they do qualifying on Saturday?
I think Radio versus the World will get extra rounds on Saturday, but I think that's it. Usually they're the ones that get the most qualifying rounds. Everybody else, if it gets cut back to 2 first.
Yeah, it's like Radio versus the World and X275.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll get 6 and everybody else will get 2.
Yeah, I think it's 4 and 2, but yeah. That's all right.
Got to get that record.
Well, we'll see, man. I don't know if the track's going to be there, and I don't think it's the prep guys, man. That place was soaked when everybody pulled in there on Tuesday.
It's unseasonably warm over here right now, dude. It was 76 degrees here today.
Yeah, it was 76 here in Kentucky too. My concrete floor was sweating.
You guys can suck it.
Scott may as well mute me for what I want to say to you for that.
Yeah, Mark's stuck in his office because there's a freaking blizzard.
Enjoy your blizzard and your snowmobile,
Fargo.
Hey, you're ice fishing.
I'll tell you what, that turbo sled would warm anybody up.
Yeah, truth. I wouldn't
That's on my bucket list. I've
Hey,
never ridden.
Those things still have those cooking like chambers on the mufflers or whatever. Is that a thing? Like warm up a steak while you're riding.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
Hobo pies on a snowmobile exhaust. Hell yeah.
If you can keep food on your exhaust, you ain't riding hard enough.
But 210 horsepower stock, I'd say that there's plenty of hard riding, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah.
So the problem is that you don't even have to ride hard to go fast with that kind of power.
Well, yeah.
Isn't it crazy how like the government never cracked down on those things? You know what I mean? Like they outlawed 3-wheelers.
Shush.
3-wheelers were outlawed.
I survived the ATC as a kid.
Right? You just can't take a hint to shut the hell up, can you?
Yeah, I know. They ain't gonna do nothing.
There's gonna be some electric powered snowmobiles next year.
Hey, what class is Barry Cook running? A couple of people asked.
Pro 275. It's about the only class he fits in with the turbo sizes and so on and so forth. I mean, it's only a 420.
It was
class.
that or Radio versus the World.
Yeah.
Which, frankly, you get his drive shaft sensor fixed. I mean, it's kind of funny, but I mean, we've got the traction control rig on that truck to take advantage of the track problem. You know,
that'd be funny to qualify in Radio versus the
It would be
World
awesome.
Something like that. Be hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a Penny Bone and Unlimited and Drag Week, you know.
Well, it's like what's his name with the Cadillac at Shakedown? Because he was in the same situation and he went up there and ran Radio versus the World at Shakedown and ended up beating oh Lord.
Did he go a couple rounds?
Soldridge. He went around. He drew Frank Soldridge first round and Frank kicked the tire and he ended up being able to beat Frank to the finish line first round in Radio versus the World.
That's outstanding.
Perduto
I love stories
announced
like that.
There's no Pro 275 tonight. Dew is setting in.
Well, at least Barry don't have to worry about trying to get it back together for Q tonight.
Yeah, well, he's got tonight then. Good job. That's actually going to work out good for Barry. Who knows, man? I'd love to see him qualify and go around. That's my goal.
I mean, isn't the bump spot in Radio versus the World is usually up in the 6s, isn't it?
No.
The bump spot, like the worst qualifier.
Dude, the bump in Radio versus the World last year was 14.
Oh.
Yeah.
They had 20. They had 20. What was it 20 some cars running 3s or better?
Right. Yeah, it was in the 14s.
And like over half of the cars were within like a tenth of each other.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you had to get down to like number 16 or 17 on the qualifier to find a 4-second run.
That's some competitive business right there.
It's pretty wild how far it's coming.
Nothing you can't do without enough money.
Yeah, everybody says that, but then again, there's a lot of guys with tons of money that can't figure it out either. It takes talent, it takes everything. Really.
There's still Honda guys that are 60 foot and what these guys are running in the 660s. So
right.
It's insane.
I mean, you can pay somebody to be the talent.
Truth. But there's a lot of people out there to take your money that tell you they're the talent and that they're not.
Yeah, that's the shit.
So I mean, you got to
there.
find the right guys. There's 5 or 6 or 7 guys running the business in Radio versus the World from tuning. You know, you look at Miller, Jamie Miller, Josh Ledford, Petty, Billy Stockland. Those guys, man, they're making it happen. That's just freaking awesome. Every one of those guys is more than just a tap and keyboard too. You know, they're doing power management. They're doing setting the bars. They're picking converters, and they're, you know, doing everything. Chassis setup is so key there. Oh man.
I swear if I was going to run Radio versus the World right now, I would want Phil Schuler.
Yeah, there's a name.
And I would want to run a blower car just because I mean everything he touches flies.
Yep. Hey, it's that time, guys. It's 10 o'clock. I'm going to break everybody loose. But you guys stay on Discord, and I'll bring in the live feed here. We'll watch the rest of the evening. But thanks everybody. Thanks Cody Bruce for coming on tonight.
Yeah, we
man.
appreciate you having us.
Sit on any night, man, and maybe we'll have your adversary on.
That'd be sweet.
Wednesday nights.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, no problem. He probably won't come on. But Wednesday nights we'll see you next week, man. We'll get the rest of the crew back on. We'll have more of a normal show next week, and we can talk about how our guys did at Lights Out. Cool. Well, for the rest of the crowd out there tonight listening in, thanks for tuning in, even though you should be watching the Lights Out feed. It's good to hear from all you guys. Once again, good questions. Otherwise, stick around. I'm going to play the outro. It's got some information on classes coming up here. The classes are starting to fill up. I'm trying to add more, but we're into June and July now. So really the only spring classes that there's this coming weekend at TIC Performance, not this weekend, but the next. That's February 24th and 25th. Mount Airy, North Carolina. Just a couple seats left for that one. Like 2 seats, 3. But other than that, there's a Northwest Arkansas coming up in March, and Dallas-Fort Worth has 4 or 5 seats left. So anyway, I'm going to play the outro. It's got a commercial here that tells you what seats are open where and when the events are. And for the rest of you, thanks for listening and tuning in, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday night. Are you interested in taking a live, in-person class with the guys from RealTuners? We have 2-day courses in dyno shops across the country. Our next class will be in Mount Airy, North Carolina, February 24th and 25th at TIC Performance for a Holly-specific class. We have 5 seats left for this one. Sign up soon. For you Midwest people, we have seats available at our class in Northwest Arkansas, March 10th and 11th at Jerry's Performance in Magazine. Plenty of seats left for this one. It's a good opportunity to make a spring class that still has open seats. Consider traveling if you have to. We also have seats available at our Dallas-Fort Worth class, March 24th and 25th. April classes, we will have a GM HP Tuners Gen 3 and 4 specific 2-day class at Shore Tuning in Danville, Kentucky on the 7th and 8th of April, and advanced standalone tuning on the 28th and 29th, also at Shore Tuning. April 21st classes at 417 Motorsports are sold out. May 12th and 13th will be in Detroit, Michigan. May 26th and 27th will be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. June 9th and 10th is another Holly-specific class at 417 Motorsports in Springfield, Missouri. Register for all of these at RealTuners.com. Click on RealTuners Live Classes. If you'd like to bring 2 or more people, talk to us about group discounts. For more info or to make a reservation, go to RealTuners.com or message us at RealTuners LLC on Facebook. Learn how to tune your own standalone EFI systems like Holly, FuelTech, Megasquirt, Fast, and others on a chassis dyno. Includes topics such as traction control, individual cylinder tuning on a budget, and power adders, all designed to help you get your project running successfully in a course taught by people who actually do this stuff for a living.